So let's now discuss the derivation of the equation of motion of the two-link RP robot. So RP here refers to revolute and prismatic, the type of joints. So it's again a two-link robot, but it has a different configuration than that of a two-link RR manipulator, where we have both the joints being revolute. Here we have revolute and prismatic. It also has two type of configuration. We will just discuss the one of those, and we'll see how we can basically derive the equation of motion. So let's draw its can say kinematic diagram or the line diagram. Now it looks something like this. So you have joint first, which is the revolute, and then you have some link length. All right, and then we can have another joint here, which is the prismatic joint. Can show it maybe like this. This being the end effector. So here we have prismatic joint in this place, which means that this link can actually slide, and then we have a revolute joint, which means that this part actually can rotate, and which in turn will also rotate the link number 2. Fine, so we can now start with attaching the frames, which are essential. So in this case, we can again assume that this is x naught and this is y naught, being our base frames. Now the first frame that we have to attach actually to this link, so we have been doing it that we can attach x1 along the length of the link, but the actual definition of the if we look at the actual definition of the attaching DH frames, so we need to identify the axis of the joint. So this is x naught, this is z naught, that is the axis of the joint, so which will be out of the paper or out of the board. And then we would have z1 also, and in this case if we just first identify the joint axis only, so this would be, in this case if we draw it maybe out of the paper, if we draw it just for our understanding, so this is z0 and z1. Fine, but before putting x1 y1 and x2 y2, let's focus on the joint axis. So in this case z2 has to be along this joint, because z axis is actually, in the convention is to put z axis along the joint. So in this case we have to take z1 here, that is fine, but z2 will be along this thing. So let's assume this is our z2, so along this would be z2. Fine, now comes the question of putting x1 and y1. So by definitions we can say that x1 is nothing but the common normal to z1 and z2. So z1 and z2, the common normal would be something like this. All right, so in this case we will have then a different z. All right, so this will be x1. Fine. Similarly, if this is the origin of joint frame 2, this can be here or this can be even dragged here, but for simplicity, if this is the origin of the link 2, because origin of the frame 2, because we generally connect it at the origin of the link. So in this case the link origin is here, but for the link 2 origin may be somewhere here, and this would vary actually. So the x2 can be put somewhere here. All right, and then we complete the right hand by right hand rule. Y would be somewhere on in the other side, inside the we can say inside the board. It goes inside the board. All right, so we are not much concerned about the direction of y's here because it doesn't really matter in the DH parameter or in the DH frames. So we are more concerned about actually x and z's. So we have got x2 and z2 and x1 and z1. So now if we look at the DH parameters for this link, so we have DH parameters being theta, alpha, d and a. Now for link 1 and link 2, so link number 1 and link number 2. So if we see theta for the link number 1, that is the angle between the x0 and x1 along z1. So this will be something like this. In this case, theta 1 would look like this. Fine. So rather than just being the angle between x0 and the link structure that we have seen in the previous RR type of system, we have actually between, which is the actual definition that it is between x0 and x1. So this will be theta 1, which is variable in this case, or we can say joint variable in this case. Similarly, alpha will be z0 and z1 between angle between z0 and z1, which is actually 0 for this case, and joint offset is distance between x0 and x1 along z1, which is again 0 in this case, and the length of the link is distance between x0 and x1, so which is again 0 in this case. For link 2, since it's a prismatic joint, the angle between x0, x1 and x2 is actually not varying. They are parallel, so theta will be 0. The alpha would be the angle between z1 and z2. All right, so that is pi by 2. So alpha will be pi by 2 here, and d is now distance between x1 and x2. So this is d, and this will actually vary as the prismatic joint moves. So this is your d, and it is supposed to vary. So this is actually your joint variable here. So we can write it as d2, which is our joint variable, and again is 0 here. All right. Now, sorry. Now let's move ahead to the equations of motion. So for this, now we know that the joint variables are theta 1 and d2 for the two-link manipulator. So for the equations of motion, again we know that we need to find out, or we need to derive the Lagrangian. So we can maybe again repeat. We need to do something like d by dt of dou L by dou theta 1 dot minus dou L by dou theta 1 is equal to tau 1, and we would require another one, that is d by dt dou L by dou, this will be d2 dot, that's the joint variable, minus dou L by dou d2 is equal, this will be, rather than torque, this will be F2, which is the force required to move this, or the force required to slide this this link 2 through the prismatic joint. So this will be our equation of motion. Now let's first try to derive the potential energy, that is where L has the component like T minus U, where T again is equal to T1 plus T2, and U is equal to U1 plus U2. That is the potential energy of link 1 and link 2, kinetic energy of link 1 and link 2. So all together we have Lagrangian, which is L is equal to T minus U. So let's first find out the potential energy associated with link 1. So now if we move ahead, so potential energy associated with link 1, which is U1, will be given by sorry, it's m1g into h. So h here will be from the center of mass, this height again, so it's like, it could be a by 2 into this height, so a by 2 sine of this theta. This theta is actually theta 1 minus 90 degrees. So we can write like this, m1g into, we can write a1 as the length of the link, or we can always define that the way Craig has defined a1 could be defined as the distance of the from the origin to the center of mass. So we can always write it in that way also. Let's try it this way. So let's assume that a1 is nothing but the distance from this origin of the link to the center of mass. So let's assume we have this distance being given. So it will be m1g_a1 sine of the angle between x0 and x1. So this will be, oh sorry, sine of this angle. The I would show it dots to be sine of this angle. So this angle is nothing but theta 1 minus, so this angle is 90. So it will be sine of theta 1 minus 90 degrees. Alright, so which can be also written as minus m1g a1 cos of theta 1 can be written as c1 in short. And similarly, we have u2 will be equal to m2g. We'll have here the distance being, can show it to you. So it's like u2 is for link number 2, which is somewhere here. So sorry. Now this distance could be d plus some distance or half of this link, or you can always define this link or this frame at the center of mass, and accordingly the distance from the center of mass from the origin of the whole setup would be d only. All right, so if we write it that way, it would get a little simpler, though we can always use d plus something, the distance of the center of mass. So this will be m2g into d2 cos of theta 1, again because it has the same angle, the sine of theta 1 minus 90 degrees. So it will be nothing but m2g d2 minus sine cos of theta 1. So you can write it simply as m minus m2g d2 c1. So because there is no other angle, so obviously you will have just this component where d2 is also varying and theta 1 is also varying. The total potential energy will be equal to u1 plus u2, which is equal to minus of m1g a1 cos of theta 1, put it in brackets, plus m2g d2 of cos of 1. All right, so now we can derive those maybe parts which we require later on in the equation of motion. Du or dou u by dou theta 1 is equal to, it will be m1g a1 sine of theta 1 plus m2g d2 sine of theta 1, because both of these vary with respect to theta 1, and this varies, this d2, this varies with respect to d2 and theta 1. So in this case, du by d theta 1 will have both two components. All right, and our dou u by dou d2 will have just one component, that will be minus m2g cos of 1, because dou u by dou d2 will replace this one, and the rest of the part would be the coefficient of the differential. So this will be something that we get dou u by dou d2. We can get it verified from here. All right, so next let's move to the kinetic energy evaluation. So now in order to evaluate the kinetic energy of the two links, so we will first look at link 1. So kinetic energy of link 1 would require the linear velocity of the mass center and the angular velocity about the mass center. So linear velocity of the mass center we have seen for link 2 link manipulator, and we have also seen for single link. So we can write it like this. So it's like v10, it would be in this case minus a1 j1 of 0, because if you see this velocity in this case, so if we talk about the position vector, so actually it is towards the j1 as per the right hand rule, because it's not towards the x1 now, so it will not be towards the, it will not be having unit vector I. The j1 would actually be here, so I'll draw it here. So it's something like this. So this will be your y1. So obviously your position vector of the center of mass would be now towards minus of j. So, and if the length is towards the center of mass is a1, so it will be a1 minus j, and the time rate of change of that vector actually will give us the linear velocity of the mass center. Fine. So this will be, that's why this will be v1 of 0 is equal to minus a1 j1 of 0, and it will have a dot because it is the time rate of change of this position vector. Now this can be simplified as v1 of 0 is equal to minus a1, this will be omega 1 in phase frame cross j1 0. We can write j dot as this, omega cross j1, and this is equal to further minus a1 theta 1 dot, this will be e1 hat in 0 cross j1 hat in 0. All right, and this can be simplified to minus a1 theta 1 dot minus I1. So E cross J is minus I1. Fine. So you can write it A1 theta 1 dot. This I1 in 0, this will be nothing but R1 to 0, I1 in 1. Fine. So R1 in 0 is nothing but the cos sine theta 1, sine theta 1 cos theta 1. So this is purely rotation about the z axis in angle theta. So this will be R1 to 0, and if we multiply this with I1 of 1 will be nothing but 1 0 0, because this is unit vector along x-axis. So R of this multiplied by this will give us, so I'll just put it here, R1 0 into I1 of 1 will give us, so if you multiply this will be cos of 1, this will be sine of 1, and this will be 0. So we can put it here. So we'll get finally a1 theta 1 dot cos 1 sine 1 0. This will further lead to a1 theta 1 dot cos 1, a1 theta 1 dot sine 1 and 0. Mind you, this a1 is the distance to the center of mass. So in the earlier case we had taken it a by 2. We can take it a by 2 again, but let's put it simply here as a1. And obviously the magnitude of this velocity would be given by the square root of a1 square theta 1 dot square cos square theta 1 plus a1 square theta 1 dot square sine square theta 1, and this will be sine and cos square plus sine square is equal to 1, and this is a common term. So finally it will be nothing but a1 theta 1 dot. Fine. So similarly the angular velocity, that is omega 1 or link 1, will be equal to nothing but theta 1 dot e1 in 0, but e1 and e2 in 0 is same, so omega 1 in 0 will be equal to theta 1 dot e naught. Also can write it this way, and the magnitude of omega 1 would be nothing but theta 1 dot. All right, similarly we can move ahead for link 2. So we have got linear and angular velocity of link 1. Now for link 2 we would simply see for the angular velocity omega 2 in 0 would be equal to, by definition, angular velocity of link 1 plus angular velocity of link 2 with respect to 1 in link in frame 0. Now this term is 0 because for an RP system we have a prismatic joint at the joint 2, so this will be 0. So omega 2 in 0 will be equal to nothing but omega 1 in 0, which is actually equal to theta 1 dot e 1 hat in 0, or you can write theta 1 dot e1 e naught, right, is equal to we can say also this is fine, but we can write the magnitude of omega 2 now equal to theta 1 dot only. All right. Similarly, we can find the linear velocity of link 2, so which is given in this case by v2 0 is equal to. Now this is a little tricky. We have to be very careful about it. So I'll draw it again for simplicity, for clarity. This is the link 1 and this is the link. So I'll put it this way maybe. This is link 2. This being the prismatic joint. So let's assume this is the mass center of link 2. Now obviously the velocity of this, both linear and angular velocity we have found, but for linear velocity, so we can say that this is nothing but this position vector, rate of change of this position vector, so which I can maybe show by red mark. So it's nothing but the position vector of mass center, time rate of change of position vector of the mass center. Now we know that this can be represented by, we can represent it by, in this case we'll write it as, because this is towards the z2, because z2 is towards this side, so we will write it d2 e2 would be the position vector, but the time rate of change will be something like this. But because d2 is also varying, as we have seen, d2 is nothing but the distance between x1 and x2, which is a joint variable in this case. So the time rate of change of this vector d2 e2 will not be just d2 e2 dot, it will be plus d2 dot e2. So this will be for this, because the position vector, if we want to write p2, was nothing but d2 e2. Alright, so time rate of position vector is v2, which is d2 e2 dot plus d dot e2 dot e2. Fine, so this can be again simplified to d2, e2 dot is nothing but omega 2 in base frame cross e2 in base frame plus d2 dot e2. We have seen we can simplify these like this. So omega 2 is nothing but theta 1 dot, because omega 2 is equal to omega 1, so it will be theta 1 dot, and we will have e1 cross e2 here plus d2 dot, we can write e2 in frame 0, so which will be written like this, r2 to 0 e2 into. Fine, so this will be now simplified to d2 theta 1 dot, e1 cross e2 will be nothing but i1, you can check it from the coordinate axis, i1 is 0 plus d2 dot, now we'll have this equal to r of 1 to 0, r of 2 to 1, e2 into, right. So this can be, now we will take it to the next slide. So if you remember the previous steps, we will have now here, this will be written like this, and d, so we'll have v2 in 0 is equal to d2 theta 1 dot, and i1 in 0 with transformation matrix r1 to 0 will give us nothing but cos 1 sin 1 and 0. I have skipped one step here, so mind you, plus d2 dot as usual. So r1 to 0 is nothing but c1 minus sin 1 cos 1 0 0, which is rotation about z axis here. Now here we have to be very careful. Now r of 2 to 1, so it's not just simply like this, because it is actually transformation in a different way. So even you can see this one, so it's not rotation about z axis that leads us to this place. So z and z1 and z2 are different, so obviously their dh as per the dh parameters, this one. So we have seen that transformation matrix that takes us from frame 1 to 2 or frame 2 to 1 with all the dh parameters included, so that will give us a different kind of transformation matrix. This is something that we will be using, and here we require just the rotation part of that dh matrix, so which you can verify from the earlier notes on dh parameters. We had found the general transformation matrix from frame I plus 1 to frame I, where we have used alpha, theta and d and a. So the 3 cross 3 part of that would be used in this case. So if we use that matrix and substitute the values of theta and the alpha is 90 degrees and theta, which is actually in this case 0 degrees, So we will finally come out with something like this: 1 0 0 0 0 minus 1 0 1 0, which is nothing but r2 to 1 in this case. So, and then multiplied by the e2, which is 0 0 1, the z component or the z vector. So this will finally reduce to, I'll also oversimplify this to v2 in 0 will be equal to d2 theta 1 dot cos 1 d2 theta 1 dot sin 1. This will be 0, and this will be plus. This finally reduced to d2 dot sin 1 minus d2 dot cos 1 and 0. Alright, so v2, the magnitude, if we now add these two again, this will be adding them would give us d2 theta 1 dot cos 1 plus d2 dot sin 1. Here we'll have d2 theta 1 dot sin 1 minus d2 dot cos 1, and this will be 0. So we'll have x and y components only. Now the magnitude of v2 would be simply under root of this square plus this square. So that will finally reduce to something like this. I'll just skip some of the few other steps. So it will be d2 square theta 2 theta 1 dot square plus d2 dot square. So this is our v2 magnitude. So obviously in kinetic energy we will get half v2 square. So this under root would go really out from there. So now looking at the kinetic energy now of both the links. So ke1 or T1 will be equal to half m1 v1 square plus half I omega 1 square, so which will be equal to half m1 a1 square theta 1 dot square plus half I1 in C to the theta 1 dot square. Similarly, kinetic energy of link 2 is equal to half. I have just kept it similar to what Craig has done, so it could be verified from there, half m2 v2 square plus half, keep it like this, I2 in the center of mass omega 2 square. So this will be equal to half of m2. Now v2 square can be taken from the previous slide, so it is nothing but d2 square theta 2 theta 1 dot square plus d2 dot square plus half of I2 obviously in C theta 1 dot square, because omega 2 is equal to omega 1. So the total kinetic energy, that is Ke, is equal to T1 plus T2, would be given by the summing up these four things. So it would be, I'll write it again, half m1 a1 square theta 1 dot square plus half I1 C theta 1 dot square plus half m2, can take it from here, d2 square theta 1 dot square plus d2 dot square plus half I2 c theta 1 dot square. So this is the total kinetic energy, and as we require the expression like dou T by this is T is equal to kinetic energy is equal to T1 plus T2. So dou T by dou theta 1 dot would be differentiation of this whole partial differentiation with respect to theta 1 dot only. So it will lead us to something like this, m1 a1 square theta 1 dot, because this will be 2 theta 1 dot, so 2 and 2 will cancel, plus again 2 theta 1 dot square will be 2 theta 1 dot, 2 and 2 cancel, so it will be I1c theta 1 dot plus, in this case we will be left with I2 in C, this part, so this will be 2, this will be 2 theta 1 dot, again 2 and 2 cancel, so this will be theta 1 dot plus, now with respect to this expression we can write, so d2 dot square doesn't come here, so it's just this part that will come, so it will be 2 theta 1 dot, again 2 and 2 cancel, so it will be m2 d2 square m2 d2 square theta 1 dot. Fine, so now this is what we have got, dt dou t by dou theta 1. So to differentiate this with respect to time, so we'll have d by dt of dou t by dou theta 1 dot. So this will be nothing but m1 a1 square theta 1 dot will be theta 1 double dot plus I1 c theta 1 double dot plus I2 C theta 1 double dot plus. So in this case, d2 is actually a variable, so it will vary with time. The theta 1 also is obviously with respect to theta 1 dot, and theta 1 dot also will finally reduce to something like m2 d2 square theta 1 double dot plus we'll have 2 m2 d2 theta 1 dot d2 dot. So this is nothing but the differentiation of this equation with respect to time. Similarly, if we see dou t by dou theta 1 which we require, so there is no component of theta 1 here in this case in this equation, so all theta 1 dots and d2 dots, so this will reduce to 0, and dou t by dou d2 dot is also required, so t is here. It will be 2 d2 dots and 2 and 2 cancel, so it will be simply m2 d2 dot, and d by dt of this would be dou t by dou d2 dot will be differentiation of this with respect to time. It will be m2 d2 double dot. Fine. Similarly, we will have dou t by dou d2. So in this case, if you see, there is an expression with d2 is this part only, so this will be nothing but m2 d2 theta 1 dot square, because this d2 square will be equal to 2d2, definition of that, 2 and 2 cancel, so theta 1 dot square remains there. Now if we combine all these things now, so one is this, and then we have this. Similarly, we have this result. All right, so 1 2 3, and we have this one. No, instead of this we have this one, because this is something that we require at the end. So 1 2 3 4, and plus the terms for potential energy, so we will actually reduce it to the form that is m theta double dot plus h plus gamma is equal to tau, where m is a vector, m is a matrix, h is a vector, gamma is a vector, tau is also a vector. So it will be something like this. So we'll arrange the above terms here. So it will be m1 a1 square plus I z1, or sorry, I1 about center of mass plus I2 about center of mass plus m2 d2 square. This will be 0, this will be 0, and this will be simply m2, where there is a joint rate vector or joint double rate vector, so it's theta 1 double dot, and this is d2 double dot, plus we will have the h component, and the Coriolis component will be for the first one, so m2 d2 theta 1 dot d2 dot. So obviously the multiple of two velocities Coriolis component, and in the first one we'll have m2 d2 square d2 theta 1 dot square. This is the centrifugal component of the link 2, plus the gravity component m1 a1 plus m2 d2 into g sine of theta 1 minus m2 g cos of theta 1 is equal to tau 1 and f2. So if you look at the derivations by Craig, this component will be different, because we have taken theta as the angle between x1 and x0 and x1, where x1 is a little different, but Craig may have taken this angle as the angle between x1 and the link, or you can see the link, structural part of the link. So that's why this will have variations. Otherwise, the rest of the equation actually boils down to the same. So this is the equation of motion of the two link RP manipulator. So obviously this is little simpler than the previous one. Obviously it also has some effects, but it's little decoupled motion, so we'll have no components of I11 and I21 and I12. We have Coriolis and the centrifugal components that basically come into